This is Kevin at Pope with Pope's Perspective, and my take on Cats. So, ever since the first trailer came out, people have been kind of like, what is this? This is kind of weird, like with the people with the cat faces and the fur and the whiskers and everything. And people are just like, I don't know what all this is. Okay, so first off, let's go to the basics. What is the musical Cats? For those of you who do not know the history of the Cats, back in the 1980s, Andrew Lloyd Webber took this book of poems about cats and he added music and turned it into a musical. Okay, that musical started on the West End in London, went to Broadway, and here's something to put into consideration. Cats became the longest running musical on Broadway until it was surpassed by Phantom of the Opera, another Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. So, the stage version of Cats, while has never been everyone's, I'm gonna say, bowl of milk, since we're talking about cats. Not everybody has been a fan of the show Cats, but there's obviously been something about the magic of Cats that it became enduring. I mean, up to like I believe it was either the early 2000s or the late 90s, the show ran, starting from the 80s. It's just like, it was a long running show. And my familiarity with Cats, I've always known, I don't know how long, but I've known about the show Cats. I heard about the show Cats, and I remember years ago, PBS showed a taped recording of the Broadway show, and I watched it, and at that time I was like, well, it's got some good songs, there's not much of a story, it's mostly just singing and dancing cats. Now, over the years, especially as I've gotten more into dancing, I've become a little bit more interested in Cats. I have yet got to see Cats on stage. I really want to see Cats on stage. Hopefully, somewhere, Cats will be done again, whether it's a local production or if they do another Broadway or London run or somewhere. I really want to see it. I really want to see it on stage. Now, they have taken the musical Cats, the director of one of my favorite films, The King's Speech, and he also did another adaptation of a long-running popular stage production of Les Mis. He brought that to the screen as well, and now we have Cats. So, people are weirded out by the look of the people with the CGI digital look. Okay, so here's the thing. Cats is about people playing cats, moving and dancing in cat-like manners, and that is the fun of Cats. I mean, just seeing people just make this transformation into cats. Now, could they have done a film where they did realistic CGI-looking cats? Probably. Would it have been better? Maybe, but I don't think it would have. I think it would have taken away from what Cats is. They made an artistic choice and decided to go with this new technology to add fur and ears and tails and make them look more like cats. They even have the whiskers. And I think it's actually a pretty good hybrid between the makeup that they would use in the stage show and a movie version. Okay, I think first off, we have become so used to photorealistic imagery in film that it's like, oh, it has to be photorealistic, it has to look so real. Stage, we're still forgiving because we know there's limitations to stage, and we can take in the imagination and say like, hey, okay, I know they're not really a cat, I know they're dressed as a cat, and I know they don't look exactly like a cat, but I don't see why we can't make an artistic choice and do something similar in film. Okay? The first thing to do to enjoy this film, the first thing you need to do is just embrace the world. Embrace the concept. Just know that it is humanoid looking cats. And you know what? This film is actually a lot of fun. And it's really good. And the dancing and the performances, there is a lot to love about this film. I really feel that people are getting so distracted by the look and they are just deciding whether they're going to the film or not. I feel that people are going and deciding that they do not like the film, and that's where a lot of the negative reviews have come in, because it's just, I don't know. I personally feel this film is being treated very unfairly. So take it this way, like the main premise of the film, like I said, the film Cats has never had a lot of storyline. It's mostly singing, dancing cats. But the main storyline is that all of these cats are gathered together. They're known as the Jellicle Cats. And they are going to go to the Jellicle Ball. And one cat is going to be chosen, and they will go on to have a new life. So pretty much kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a death thing, and then they're reborn. And they would just have a new life. And it's actually kind of it's an interesting concept. It's kind of weird. Now, imagine if the same concept were, if this film were a fantasy film, if it was in a fantasy world and it was about these group of people and they were going to this ball and one person was going to be chosen to start a brand new life. Is that really such a weird premise? Maybe it's a little strange, but you know what? It's kind of an interesting premise. That's the premise of this film, but it's with cats. Each cat comes on, they have a song about who they are and singing about themselves, and each cat has different personality, and there's different things about different cats, and I really enjoyed it. The 1 week league, for me anyway, maybe some people will like her humor. I personally did not enjoy Rebel Wilson in this film. I don't know, I didn't really like her humor. It wasn't my thing, and I could have done without the cockroaches. I'm not going to tell you what they did with the cockroaches in the film, but the cockroaches were a little bit much for me. But that aside, the rest of the film, I absolutely love this. I mean, when they finally get to the Jellicle Ball and they're dancing around and like the choreography, like that was a magical moment. Like I came into this film like, you know what, I'm just going to embrace this world, and I ended up loving it. Like people have the potential to love this film, but they're putting a barricade in front of themselves saying like, no, I will not like this film. I refuse to like this film. It's too weird. It's too strange. They look too weird. They look too bizarre. And artistically, it's a beautiful film. I mean, just kind of the little details, like they're in a human world, but they're cats, so things are larger. They're larger than life size because they've got to adapt it to cats. Now, granted, they probably made them the world a little bit bigger than cats really are, but that's a minor detail. I mean, when you do things like that, especially in stage work, that's bound to happen. But it doesn't take away from it at all. It's just, I mean, there's like little details, like there'll be a sign like the milk bar. I love little things like that, the little reference, because they're cats. It's great. And so there's so much to love about this film. Please give it a chance. Like I said, the first thing you got to do is you've got to believe the world. You've got to accept the world. If you're going into this film and just saying that it's too weird, I'm too distracted by how strange it looks, then you're not going to enjoy the movie. And you're putting that on yourself. And if you're not into the musical Cats, then you're probably not going to like the movie. If you're not into musicals, you're probably not going to like the movie. I mean, just like if it wasn't a musical, if it was like some sort of a ballet about cats and you were watching these cats dancing around, would that be all that bad? So what's wrong with doing something like that with film? Film is about making artistic choices, okay? Now, if it was a real world and you had a human character playing a cat, then maybe that would be a little weird. This is the world of cats, and in this world of cats, we're seeing humans portraying the cats, And so, Cats is worth seeing. Go check it out. And also, interesting note. So apparently, and this is like a new thing. It's like never been done. It's like usually, unless you count George Lucas' special edition, but that wasn't like part of their initial release. So apparently, they are like they're gonna go back and fix some of the effects to make it look better and realistic. I'm curious to go see it again after they get the changes. So like they're not going to change the film, they're just kind of change some of the effects. And so the one cat that I don't know if they're going to, but the one cat I really hope they can help change her look. Like, I don't know why, but Jennifer Hudson, I thought her performance was great. I loved her performance. I thought she was really great in it. But her look, I don't know, something looks off from her compared to all the other cats. I don't know. That's a minor little tangent, but even if they don't, like I said, I was wrapped around in the performances. They were really great. And my personal favorite was Mr. Mistopheles. Like, Mr. Mistopheles' song has always been my favorite song from Cats. And from the moment I saw the first trailer, and I saw which cat was Mr. Mistopheles, and I looked it up, and I did pick out which cat was Mr. Mistopheles, and I really enjoyed Mr. Mistopheles. I thought he was a fun character, and I loved watching him throughout the film. And like I said, I have not seen the full musical of Cats on stage. I hope to one day, but really, like, just dispel your disbelief. Go in, accept the world, and just look at the art that this is. Okay, film is art. There's many different ways you can do film, and if they're gonna do a musical version of Cats, this is an interesting way to do it. Okay, and really, the effects really are not that bad. And so I think it really comes more into our mind, because like you look at the fur, and the fur's actually pretty well done, and the ears look pretty good, and the tails look good. It really comes down to just seeing fur on a human face, and I think our brains are just weirded out. Like, this looks strange. I'm not used to this. It looks weird. But just embrace it. It's fun. Go see Cats. And that's the Pope's perspective.